Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Lee. And as you know, we talk about four different types of freedom: time, financial, location, health freedom. And today I have Chancellor Jackson. He's an author, educator, coach, and entrepreneur coming out of Atlanta. And today is going to be talking all about purpose, entrepreneurship, writing, and fulfilling your potential. So, Chancellor, welcome.
Hey man, Chris, blessings and balance to you. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. Shout out to y'all for real, for real. Y'all the real MVPs.
Yeah, I know. I know we had met through Podmatch, and you have a really interesting bio. Tell everybody how you got started, and we'll go from there.
For sure. So born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, played football vast majority of my life. So that contributed a lot to the overall development of me as an individual, my character, my spirit, all of that, all my traits. So definitely football is me, and I am football for sure. Played all throughout high school, got to play in college for 4 years at Stetson University. It's a small D1 school down in Florida, where I obtained my bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. After I graduated, I landed my first job teaching English to children in China, ironically. So spent a little bit of time in China. I was supposed to do a year, only ended up doing 6 months because I got locked up out there and did 14 days in the Chinese
Uh-huh.
detention. China was by far the best experience I've ever had, hands down. I encourage everybody to travel abroad for sure, but if you live abroad someplace else, essentially, and you learn a lot, it's very enlightening. So you know what I'm saying, go try to live someplace you've always been fond of, always been interested in. Definitely take on that challenge for sure. But once I was released from Beijing Jail 6, I was deported from the country immediately. And I came back to America, and I was back to square one. Like when football came to the end, like, damn, bro, what's next? What we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? How we gonna bounce back from this? But just me being a resilient spirit that I am, I just stayed down and trusted the process. I utilize what you have going on right now. You got experience teaching in a whole completely different country. That's gonna open up doors. So let's, you know what I'm saying, keep our foot on this gas, and everything else is gonna come to us. You know what I'm saying? Just take it step by step, and then just got into coaching football. And folks, hey, you trying to coach? I ain't got nothing else going on. Why not? Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So now it's going on year 5 for me. Coaching football. I started writing 14 Days in Beijing. And that was my bestseller. Ranked number 1 on Amazon multiple times. So I was on pre-sale. I was ranked number 1 new bestseller in 3 different genres. Then got into coaching at-risk teens in my county. So working with teenagers that got arrested for drugs or just doing, you know what I'm saying, just hot stuff. We use 14 Days as Beijing as a part of our lessons to pull our life skills from. I coach aspiring authors now through the writing and publishing process. So anybody out there that got an idea, a concept for a book, but don't know how to go about putting it on paper, or you've already written a book but don't know how to go out publishing, hey, holla at your boy. I can walk you through either process or both of them. Also have a car rental service as well right now. So yeah, man, just running a couple marathons, trying to get established. That's it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us, one thing is, sounds like everything stems from this 14 days in Beijing. Tell us, I guess, I encourage all the listeners out there to check it out. I'm sure it's on Amazon, and just tell us some of the lessons, because it's great, traveling, and basically you basically force yourself into uncomfortable situations, but tell us more.
Um, it's a lot of lessons you could take away from 14 days. One is just learning about a whole completely different group of people, their culture, their history, you know what I'm saying, everything about these people. And we're very knowledgeable as far as the Chinese people, but that's only what was pushed in the media. That's as far as it goes. And it's the same thing on the other end of the coin. How they know about us, everybody outside of China, is what they see in the media. So it's ignorance on both parts. You know what I'm saying? So it's just bridging the gap and really getting to understand this other group of people and how they are and what stereotypes are true, what stereotypes aren't. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing the individual for the spirits that they are versus these conceptions we've been brainwashed with. So you learn that just a cultural, you know what I'm saying, aspect of it. And definitely knowing your due diligence and doing your research before you travel anywhere. Make sure you know what I'm saying, you know the rules, the culture, do's and don'ts, the vibrations, all that to a T. And it's a lot of accountability. I hold myself accountable throughout the entire story. So that's something that a lot of people lack or don't know how to take.
Yeah. Nice.
So, you know what I'm saying? Accountability is huge in the book. Spirituality is huge in the book. I'm very spiritual. So I pray to my ancestors. My ancestors send me a lot of signs and messages through dreams and live, you know what I'm saying, live in action. So it's a very spiritual book, as well as entertaining. It's funny just because I'm telling the story, and even though it's a serious situation, and just how I am, I still just crack jokes, subtle jokes here and there. So, you know what I'm saying, it's very humorous at the same time. And you get to learn about other foreigners that are locked up there and just their backgrounds and more of their culture and stuff like that. So all in all, it's a journey for sure. It's a journey.
Yeah. And then you talk about, you know, especially writing. Sounds like writing is really important part of your journey and kind of allows you to process your experiences. And then you've also written other books, you know, like looks like You Love and You Learn and Real Love Never Dies. Tell us more about those writings.
Yeah, so all my books are nonfiction based on real life events that I've experienced. So 14 Days in Beijing is about my experience getting locked up in China and just that whole incarceration process. That's literally it. Really don't know what took place beforehand or what takes place afterwards. It's just those 14 days. You Love, You Learn, which is book number 2, is really the prequel. So it takes place of me in college, you know what I'm saying, and finally meeting my girlfriend and, you know what I'm saying, falling in love and just our whole first year together and everything that I learned as far as just emotional intelligence, you know what I'm saying, gaining emotional intelligence because I lacked it beforehand. And then Real Love Never Dies, book 3, connects the dots from year 1 of our relationship, just like my junior year to my senior year, and then of course graduating, now trying to find myself in the real world, landing my first job on the other side of the world. And it touches base on a few different things that I was on in China before getting locked up. And then, of course, it brings everything full circle taking place. We're touching on what took place after those 14 days in Beijing. So it's all one long story. I just, you know what I'm saying, just broke them up into 3 different books. But it's just crazy how they all came to play. 14 Days was the first one. I didn't even think I was going to write another book. I'm like, this is it. I'm out of gas. And then the same individual that inspired me to write 14 Days, he was like, you know what I'm saying, inspired me like, hey, man, you should write the romance saga next. I'm like, I don't know. Females that was reading 14 Days, they was like, okay, you talk about this girlfriend all throughout the book. Then you get out and that's the end. What happened with that? How, you know what I'm saying? How that relationship play out? We want to know the tea on that. So that was another, you know what I'm saying, bug in my ears to write it. But what sold me to write the romance saga was coming across the statistics of the best-selling genres. And when I saw romance at the top, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm sold. That's all I needed to hear. Y'all should have said this from the jump. You know what I'm saying? So wrote the romance saga. It only took me 2.5 weeks to write that. And then just spent the rest of the year just editing it and getting it ready for publishing. And even then, it's still going to be one long book, but we broke it up into 2 parts at the very last minute. So, yeah, it's been a journey. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna sit here and portray this ultimate poise like I've had all this figured out. Nah, man, I'm just a cat out here just trying to find himself. After, you know what I'm saying, identifying as a football player and a student athlete for so long. So just trying to redefine myself and find myself. And it then took everything that had transpired, you know what I'm saying, for me to be where I am now and to sit and tell you who I am and what I got going on and you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, what's my purpose here on this earth.
Yeah. Interesting. So tell us more why you turned to writing. Is it something that is it just tell us more about this writing process?
Yeah, I mean, ironically, bro, writing has never been anything I was really fond of or really had to do for real. Like growing up in school, of course, yeah, we had to do like writing as far as, you know what I'm saying, just for the test, the big exam at the end of the year. So we practiced it, you know what I'm saying, throughout the year just for that. But once I got to high school, I can probably tell you probably twice I had to write a paper when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't had to do too much writing in high school. So when I got to college, and then my degree being in communication, that's writing intensive. I didn't know that at the time. So yeah, I'm freshman year. They talking about, yeah, I got essay in this class, I got essay in this class. I'm like, oh, hold on, y'all tripping? Like, nah, bro, I ain't used to this. Like, so I had to really learn how to, you know what I'm saying, write all over again, and at least from a structure standpoint. So just me having to do it in college, and then of course senior research, that's the big one. And I ain't even write that. You know what I'm saying? I finessed that. I finessed that. So I ain't even really had to write that. So writing was never a strong suit of mine or something that I was interested in doing or even like doing. You know what I'm saying? Every time I thought of writing, I automatically equated it to something school related. Yeah, and that's how most people view writing. Like, you like, oh man, it's another assignment. I got to turn into this professor by Tuesday night, by midnight. You know what I'm saying? That's how we think of it. But going through an experience like getting locked up abroad in China, I'm like, bro, I need to do something with the story. I ain't go through this for no reason. I'm supposed to do something with it. I don't know how though. I don't know how I'm gonna go about telling this story. And then, like I said, one of my friends I grew up with, he was a published author, a traditionally published author before we graduated high school in 2014. And he was like, hey, bro, you should write a book about the experience. I was like, shh, that's genius. I don't know where to start, but hey, that's a great idea. And he took it further, took my phone, went to my notes, left me a brief outline, 5 layers. It was very, very opening scene, following scene, climax, following scene, closing. It was like brief like that. And I just went in, I just started filling it in. And with me filling in that outline, I caught a flow for how I wanted to tell the story. So I moved it from my notes on my phone to Google Docs so I could type it up on the computer. 4 months later, the whole story I was finished writing it. And then spent the next 6 months just getting it ready for publishing. So like I said, man, we ain't had this thing figured out. We was just started off with an idea, and you know what I'm saying, we just took it step by step, you know what I'm saying, and then they put it out into the universe, and man, it goes crazy. Oh man, it's lit. It's lit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for sure, we all got stories to tell. Everybody does. Everybody does. We all have stories to tell. It's just up to us if we gonna tell it or not.
Yeah. I love that. We all have a story. And so tell us, you prefer the self-publishing route, or you prefer to find the publisher? How did you do it?
So yeah, I did the self-publishing route. A big influence on my life is Nipsey Hussle, rapper from LA. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he's all about ownership and being independent. That's why we call this thing the marathon, you know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be a journey going the long route, you know what I'm saying? So I took the independent route, and it was really the best thing for me, because once I took the independent route, I'm going crazy on Amazon. #1 all day, I'm going crazy. I'm like, all right, let me try to tap in with these traditional publishers, and let me, you know what I'm saying, see if I can make something shake that route as well. So I didn't hit both markets. And I'm talking about every publisher I reached out to did not accept me. So I just took it. I was like, I'm doing it right the way I've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't broke. Ain't no point of trying to fix it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you have all of the freedom and full control over your project, being the independent author versus trying to go through the traditional way where they gonna sit here and say, oh, they're gonna change up everything. Oh no, we don't like this. We want you to do this to it. Next thing you know, it ain't even your book. Oh, we want you to drop it on this date, and you know what I'm saying? It can need to be this amount of pages. So it's like, damn, bro, you taking away from the art. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely independent. You know what I'm saying? You just having to say so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a great discussion. I like the, this idea of sharing your story and whether it's through music or writing, some creative endeavor and getting it out there. How can people, I know you're on YouTube, you're on social media, how can people check you out, check out the book and follow you, etc.?
For sure. So yeah, man, the best search engine we got right now, Google Chancellor K. Jackson. You'll find all my social media profiles. You'll find other interviews I've done. My website, chancellorkjackson.com. My books are available on my website and available on Amazon as well. And I also have the audiobook for 14 days in Beijing rolling on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. And I'm reading it. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a vibe for sure, for sure. So y'all can listen to it for those that ain't really into reading. Trust me, I feel you. That's why we got options for you, for sure.
Excellent. And for all the listeners out there, Chancellor's resources will be in the links and show notes. It's thanks so much for dropping wisdom and so about your experiences. And I encourage everybody to follow you and be sure to check out your resources. And thanks so much. And thanks for coming on to the show.
For sure. I just want to leave y'all with a quick message before we leave. It's by Nipsey Hussle, and it goes, long-winded, running through this life like it was mine. Never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what's a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. Well, who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, give your hearts to it. Stay strong.